In Tingledom, it's all about you. You and what makes you tingle, and just experiencing as many tingles as possible. You might call it a tinglecation. Tingles with flyby. Daily ASMR videos. Hello. Don't think I've seen you before. Is you entering new territory here? Well, I think you'll be quite delighted with what you found. So you've obviously been referred to us by a friend or... Oh, she's lovely. She tells everyone about us, which is fine. I think a lot of people think she's crazy, but obviously you saw some truth in what she said. It's good. Well, we are in fact a real place. Obviously, I mean, we're not in Tingledom right now, but Tingledom is a real place where I come from. It's a lovely, beautiful place, which knew about the tingles long before it became ASMR on the internet. But we've seen a big upsurge in visits to Tingledom since then, as people become more aware of the sensation and desire more of that sort of experience. And that's what Tingledom is all about and always has been. Always been about helping people relax and find what helps them tingle. There is also something, so on the trip that you'll be going on, is it going to be just you, or do you have no partner, kids? Okay. Do they get tingles, or? Okay. Well, don't worry. There is something we do have in Tingledom which helps to remedy that. So it'll be an enjoyable vacation for all. And you'll probably see a little bit more understanding on maybe why you wanted to go somewhere like this in the first place. Because if you really don't experience ASMR, it's hard to really tell why it's such a great experience. So this may help bring you closer together as well. Obviously, not that you necessarily need that. You probably are a lovely and happy couple. Okay. So, the first thing is to know how long you have. We can do different things depending on the length of time that you have. The heart of Tingledom is the castle and the castle surrounds, which we call Tingledom proper, which is kind of the city of Tingledom. We just call it Tingledom proper. But there's also like small villages, there's a forest, and then there's kind of more remote places you can stay up in the mountains, out in the desert, in the hinterlands, and, even farther away out to the beach, get a little beachside cabana. Depends on how much you really want to delve into all of the different experiences that you can have. So what do I mean? So, well, sometimes lots of people describe that they might get ASMR from this one time they went shopping for shoes, and just, hearing the salesperson talk about shoes and just how amazing they were. But we've all gone shopping for shoes plenty of times and never had that experience, Well, in Tingledom, every experience is catered to you. It's catered to your particular triggers, to what really makes you tick. So people will respond to that. So what we do is basically when you first get into Tingledom, we run through a real quick, just kind of experience. Your partner will go through a little bit different one since they've never had ASMR. More so that goes more interest type thing to try and figure out how to get them going. And so they'll go through a little bit of a trigger test. Don't try and do all the triggers, or break them up into categories. It could be a bit overwhelming the first night to try and do like a full trigger test. Yeah. So, but then over the following days, we'll be able to hone in and refine and figure out exactly what works for them as they delve into this brand new experience for them. It'll be very exciting. So, of course, we'll have somewhere for you to stay while you're in Tingledom. There are a few different options. So, depending on how long you're going to be there, did you say? Okay, that's a decent amount of time. So you might actually be able to stay a few different places. One of the classic places is Tingledom Inn. It's a cozy, beautiful lodging. It's small, has different themed rooms. It's almost like a bed and breakfast, but a little less personal, so you don't feel someone's kind of right in your business. But lots of different themed rooms, a garden room, a chess room, and other rooms. Some things you can't know about until you get to Tingledom. Just part of our policies. Now we've also got, so down south of Tingledom proper is a lake. There's a floating town in the lake. And in that town, there's a hotel called a Floating Inn. It's got like isolation chamber floatings, and you can sleep in there. So we do have ones with a double, so you could both basically be in there, but you'd have your own individual tanks. Kind of bump up against each other if you try. They did try that once, but I know it didn't work. A bit of a fiasco. So now they're two individual tanks. So that can be a nice experience. You can make it so you have similar music or sounds coming in, so you can kind of share the experience in that way. So that's a place you can stay. There's also the cabins in the woods. You can stay there. But usually what I like to do, I like to get somebody set up either with the Tingledom Inn, if you'd like something even more hands-off. We could get you set up in an apartment, just have your own place where you can do your cooking and that sort of thing. Then, of course, you can experience Tingledom grocery shopping, which is fun. There's kind of old-timey stores and more modern supermarkets as well, but I always go to the old-time stores I have to stop by. So, the other thing you can do, which a lot of our guests do, is basically just book for the first few days. You don't have to worry about there not being enough room. The flow of guests into Tingledom is basically pretty regulated and kept good, so there won't be too many people all at once, and so there's not a whole ton of competition, so that people can go from accommodation to accommodation Obviously this is supposed to be a very stress-free vacation and getaway for you, so having things where things might be booked up or you feel like you have nowhere to stay at the last minute are anti-stress. So we have taken serious concerns to make sure that sort of thing won't happen. There is also the castle, but usually I recommend saving it. And that's just to say the castle is kind of the ultimate experience that you can have there. And if you do it first time, then it's kind of like, where do you go from there? Whereas if you haven't gone to the castle, you still have something else. I mean, there's always new wonders to uncover in Tingledom, so it is, great to go back again and again. But I think staying in the castle should be reserved for a special occasion, especially with your partner not knowing about tingles. It might be better to wait until they can really delve in and enjoy that experience. Okay, so we'll start you off then. Would you rather be usually we start people off in Tingledom proper, just so you get a good feel for what's going on there. So if you want to go, we do have a floating inn. Probably could be a little overwhelming for your first night. So I usually, as I said, go to Tingledom Inn, an apartment, or one of the other lodgings in town. Go to the apartment, okay. And so, do you want to book that for the whole time? Or just a few nights? Because there's a lot of things around Tingledom. So there's the mystic forest, as I said, there's the magical cabins. You may go up into the mountains. You could do it as a day trip, but you may end up going there and really liking it, want to spend 3 or 4 days up in the mountains, So I think it's good to plan a little flexibility in there. So, you have a few options for how you get to Tingledom as well, being that it's on an island right there in the middle of the Indian Ocean. It isn't accessible by train or car, those sort of things, but we do have ships that go there, or of course the quickest mode of transportation is airplane. The caveat with those is you do have to go on Tingledom Airways or Tingledom cruise lines, basically just because nobody else actually knows that Tingledom exists. Yeah, if you look in the UN, you won't see Tingledom listed. We're a well-kept secret. Even though some heads of state have known about us, they take advantage of the relaxation we offer and in turn keep our secrets as well. So while you are free to share, we don't like to get kind of mass information out there about us. It's more one by one by one by one, just person to person, word of mouth type thing. Yeah. So would you rather go on the ship? Obviously that'll cut into your time, takes a little longer, or you fine with flying? Okay. So if we put you, you look and see what we have that day. Okay, so there's 2 flights leaving that day, and because these are specifically Tingledom Airways, they're a little bit more like private jets, very few passengers, so you'll get your very intimate experience. And you do have a stewardess who will look after your needs and make sure everything's fine in that way. Open bar drinks. Not too many drinks. We need you a little bit cognizant for your tingle profile. So you can either go pretty early in the morning if you like to leave around an 8 a.m. or we have midday. Yeah, those come into Tingledom. So one gets in at 7 p.m., the other 5 p.m. Must be something with the tailwinds. I don't know. I leave that to the pilots. They tell us how long it takes. Yeah, so the 7 p.m.'s not bad. And the airfield, it's a bit out of Tingledom, so you get a carriage, and then it'll bring you into Tingledom. Yeah, it's a horse-drawn carriage. Yeah. That has been... And we're really not supposed to talk about this, but it has been magically enhanced. You're not supposed to find out about the magic until you actually get to Tingledom. But, so there is a bit of magical enhancement on the carriage. So, I mean, horse-drawn carriages can sometimes be a little bit of a bumpy ride. Not this one. It's so smooth. We have very good spellcasters in Tingledom. That's part of what they practice. And I'm going to be revealing secrets to you. So, for your partner, what they'll actually be doing is there's a berry that only grows in Tingledom. It's called a tingleberry. And it actually can give ASMR to those who don't experience it, so it can set off their tingles. So it's awesome. And for you, it will enhance your tingles. So it's a winner all around. But don't tell anyone I said that. You're not supposed to find out about any of that until you get to Tingledom. So, shh, just between you and me. Don't tell your partner. Just wait. Although, I mean, I can't tell you to keep a secret if that's not good between you, so I leave that to your discretion. But if they have a blabbermouth, I'll get in trouble. So, we'll get you in at 7, and then the 2 weeks later, we usually like to have you leave in the afternoon, get a nice relaxed time. We fly you back and then put you up at a hotel right next to the airport. Yeah, so you don't have to worry about driving home late at night, that sort of thing. Kind of just get everything taken care of for you. So that is a 5-star luxury hotel. It'll be lovely. That's kind of a good way to get to know about the lovely spots in your own neighborhood. Okay, well, I have got you all booked in. 2 weeks in Tingledom. I can't wait for the next time I go back, so I hope you have a wonderful time. And just, let everything go and just let the experiences come. That's my biggest advice. But you'll love it. They are very good at taking care of you, and they'll figure out what works for you. So I know you'll have